Hello everybody. By this video, I am going to demonstrate about Spring security. The scope of this video is limited to develop a simple web application and integrating that application with Spring security. The authentication mechanism going to be demonstrated here is username and password authentication. Prerequisite is to understand this demonstration, the viewer should have core Java knowledge, Spring Core, Spring MVC, Spring Boot, and any build tool, Maven or Gradle, and any Java IDE. Okay, let's get into the demonstration. As a first step, we need to generate a Spring Boot project with the required dependencies. According to the build tool you are going to use, select either Maven or Gradle. So I'm going to use Maven build tool, hence I have selected Maven, language Java, and I prefer using Spring Boot 2.7.6 version, hence I have selected that. Give the group name, give the artifact name and the project name, and on the dependency section we are going to add the dependency number 1 Spring Web, and dependency number 2 Spring Security, and dependency number 3 Thymeleaf Template Engine. And after selecting all that required dependencies, select the relevant version of Java. I'm going to use Java 11, hence I have selected 11, and click on this generate button. Once you click on generate, you'll be given with a zip file with all the required dependencies. You'll have to unzip it and import them as a Maven or Gradle project into your respective IDE. I'm going to demonstrate this with Eclipse IDE. So this Spring Security Basic, this Spring Boot project is the one which I have downloaded. So let me run you through what dependencies have been generated here. So as we have given 3 dependencies, accordingly we have got Spring Boot Starter Thymeleaf, Spring Boot Starter Web, and Spring Boot Starter Security, and relevant testing dependencies like Spring Security Test and Spring Boot Starter Test. Okay, the next step is import them. So how do you import on Eclipse? Click on File, click on Import, click on Existing Maven project, click on Next, go and select your directory where you have this. So Spring Security Basic. Once you select it, select the pom.xml. As I have already imported them, it is giving a warning. So when you are doing for the first time, you will not get this. Click on this checkbox and click Finish. And once you click on Finish, it will be mounted like this over here. So the next step is create views. As it's a web application, we'll have to create views that user can browse through. So I have created a home page, home.html. So this home page will have just a text box wherein the user has to type their name, and there will be a submit button which the user has to hit it to get him or her greeted. So the response page would be greetings.html, which will just say hello to the user. There are other set of pages also which I have written, namely login.html. So this is a customized login page which I have designed. Why it is customized, I will explain soon. And there is a page called hello HTML, and this is the page which I am going to secure it. So how I am going to secure, I will demonstrate. So given that all these view pages are designed, our next step is writing a configuration class called Spring Web Config, which implements Web MVC configurer. In nutshell, this configuration class is used to map the URL with a view name. So as an example, this URL /home is mapped to a view name called home, and even slash is mapped against home, and /hello is mapped against the view name hello, and /login is mapped against a view name login. Okay, so the first step is making a Java configuration called Spring Web Config, which implements Web MVC configurer. And the next step is creating a controller class with an annotation at controller. So this controller class will be called when the user lands on his home page and he types in his username, and after that he hits on submit. So it is a post request, and that post request is mapped against this controller by the annotation at post mapping. So our username is passed via this request parameter. In case the user is not passing that, the default value would be world. And the parameter will be stored into the model, and that model attributes is stored in the attribute called name. Okay, name, and then this view name is return greetings. So the URL mapped against this view name is greetings.html, and that page would be loaded. So on that page I am referring this attribute name, and hence it is printing the name of the user. So until then I have not integrated the Spring security here, especially to the view names home and greetings. So it's not integrated. So how is that done? So the next configuration class will explain you that. So it is Spring Web Security Config. So on a high level, we can say that this is a configuration class where we are making global security configuration. So what is that global security configuration? We are instructing the Spring Boot that which URLs has to be protected and which URLs need not be protected, and what is the method of protection. That is the authentication mechanism, whether it is going to be a form login or it is going to be a basic authentication. Okay, so here I'm going to demonstrate about form login, one with a customized login page and the other one with a Spring security provided login page. Okay, so let's get into this. So if you see here, you'll have to have two annotations to this Java config, at configuration and at enable web security. Okay, so over here, if you see here, what we are instructing the Spring framework or Spring Boot. So we are saying that whatever the URL patterns that matches with slash or slash home or slash greetings, permit them without any protection. Okay, that is this method permit all the other requests which is set by any request has to be authenticated, or all the other views has to be protected using Spring Security. Okay, so how are we going to be protecting that? So this just says that don't protect the highlighted URLs and protect all the rest of the URLs via form login. Okay, so that's what this security configuration says to Spring Boot. Okay, so also this configuration will have a bean which returns the user detail service, or which returns back the user context. So over here, to make the demonstration simple, I am storing the username and password into InMemory. As you see here, this API is deprecated. That is deprecated for a purpose because it should not be used in production. So I am using it here to get a easier understanding of Spring Security. Okay, so this user detail service bean will return back and user details. So these are the username and password that the user is going to get authenticated. That is, for this simple demonstration, we have made an user named user and his password is password. So no encryptions or no such sophisticated things are included as part of this demonstration. The reason being to get a clear understanding in a simpler way on Spring Security. Okay, so this is one class, and of course everybody should be aware about Spring Security basic application. This would be the entry point for the application, and when you run this class, embedded Tomcat would be running. Everybody should be aware about it. So let me, I think the server is running already. I'm stopping that, and please note, now the user would be presented with a Spring Security default login page, because we are not pointing to any views here, right? See here. So first let's check how is it working. So I'm going to run this class. Okay. Now let's land on the home page. So as I have already told, or as we have already configured, this home page is not a protected web resource. Okay, hence we are not presented with a Spring provided default login page. Okay, so now it is just an, as I said earlier, the user can type in the name and he can click on submit. So it will greet the user with the name hello Ashok. Okay, so this two pages, namely the home page and the greetings page, these two web resources are not protected. Okay, according to the configuration which I have explained before. Now let's log in to the greeting page. Sorry, not the greeting page. Give me a second. Hello page. Okay, so now everybody should be understanding it clearly that the hello page is protected resource. So it's not starting with any of these URLs. Okay, hence the user have been presented with a Spring security default login page. Now I'll be supplying the username and password. So it will be greeting with the name of the user as the code has been written like that. So if you see here, so the HTTP servlet request.remote user will pick up that username, and it is getting that displayed on the browser. And when I click on sign out, you'll be saying you'll get a message called you have been signed out. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is, let me supply a bad password. So it will give bad credential. Okay. So all these are taken care by Spring security provider default login page. Okay. So now let's change this configuration to point to the customized login page. So I am taking it to the view name login, which will be loading login.html. So now I'll have to restart the application. Let me now open it. /hello, because that is the protected resource. Now if you see, you'll be given with a customized login page, that is login.html, which is written here. Okay, now it is a customized login page, and in case you are getting error, you will be given with in case you are supplying a bad credentials, you will be given with invalid username and password. And if you click on sign out, you will be given with a message you have been logged out. Now everything is from our customized login page. Now let me supply that password, right password. So it will, so now I'll sign out. If you see here, it will be the customized message only. It is not the one given by the Spring security. So you have been logged out. In case I'm supplying a bad password, it will give invalid username and password according to our customized login page over here. So last time, if you would have observed, it was giving out bad credentials when you are giving bad credentials. But this time it is giving you have been logged out message because it is a customized login page. So it is invalid username and password. Last time it was bad credential. And last time when you're using the Spring security default login page, when you click on sign out, you have been signed out. But this time it would be you have been logged out because we are using a customized sign in page. So here we go. So all that steps have been explained here. Okay, so behind the scenes, what is happening? So the first thing you have to check here is when a security integration is not in place, the request of the user from the browser will directly hit the controller, and all that process would be happening. But the moment you have integrated the security, and moment you have given a class with an annotation, enable web security. All this filter classes will be coming in place and will be intercepting your request. So here actually, so all this intercepting filter would be applied based on the configurations you have applied. Okay, so when a particular web resource has to be protected, that particular web resource will be going via a security filter, and then the filter authenticates the request, and once the authentication passes, it goes to the authorization level, and once the authorization is passed, it routes the request to controller. Otherwise the request is routed back to the user with the error message, like they cannot access the application. So as a high level view, I have given here as the security filter will be intercepting the request, but there will be a bunch of filters applied by Spring security frameworks which would be intercepting our request. Okay, so all these details or workings of these filters are completely abstracted out, and the developer can just do a configuration by making an annotation at enable web security, and all these are given to you. So the complete working details are abstracted out. Okay, the source code for this demo is available in my public repo, the link of which I'll be sharing in the description. Feel free to download and use it and get benefited. Okay, coming to the finish line. Thanks for watching this video. If you guys like this video, like it, and if you have any queries, respond me on the comment section. I will try to give a reply. And note that this kind of username and password authentication is never ever used in the production. Also, hence I have highlighted that it is a deprecated API, but this is demonstrated that way to get a easier understanding of Spring security framework. Okay, what's next? So in next video, I'll be trying to explain about open authentication in a very simplest form. Thank you all.